All right, and we're in. Welcome everyone to a new series I'm starting on this channel called Why You Should Watch. This series is going to be covering several underground, not maybe not underground, but obscure-esque series that I think deserve a little more love, a little more discussion, and a little more publicity. Um, and I know some of these series are going to be pretty large in other regions or other parts of the world, but since I live in a western, let's just say the western section of the world, I want to just help bring light to some franchises on this end. So yeah, today's topic is Musume Pretty Derby. This is our starting project mostly because of the theme. It's a race, and obviously races have starting lines have a huge symbolism in racing, and so here it is. Uh, Musume is a project from a well-known company known as Cygames. The Cygames is a company that's produced several huge franchises, including Shadowverse, Grand Blue Fantasy, Princess Redive, Zombieland Saga, and like several other franchises. It's a very massive corporation that produces both games, anime, and spin-off games like Grand Blue Fantasy, which stars its versus titles. And yeah, now Uma Musume Pretty Derby is the basic premise is pretty out of the world, and this is one of the reasons why people like to dismiss it as a sort of Meg type, like Azure Lane type gotcha game show or property that just doesn't really have anything of substance to share with the world. And so, what I'm going to say is, don't dismiss it too quickly. So, we can see here, right, that Uma Musume's whole idea is to take famous racehorses from real life and incarnate them into their own characters and their own stories and into anime girls. It's much like something like a Kantai Collection or Azure Lane. Now, if you haven't heard of either of those before, you're probably a much more casual fan of anime because it's just the whole anthropomorphization thing is very new in the West. Most of them are very niche in their communities, like such like gajinkas and such. It's very niche in the West. But in Japan and several parts of Asia, it is extensively popular. Uma Musume Pretty Derby, as a franchise, includes the main anime, which has 3 seasons. The third season is currently airing, and Umayu shorts, which are the comedy-centric short animes that are um, sort of like little fan service type stuff. And then we have a fan service, I mean a comedy type. Not there's no ecchi in this anime, which is one of the plus sides. It has very little ecchi to do with it, which is one of its big draws. It also consists of the ONA Road to Top, which is a 4 episode ONA, and it has 2 current running manga, which are worth noting. The Cinderella Grey manga, which features a guiding one-shot, and the Star Blossom manga, which is very short currently, and both of these are going on fan translations, as they aren't globally available yet. And obviously we have the game, which is the most popular way to access the franchise, at least in Japan. The most popular method to access the franchise in the West is the anime. Let's get into the main meat of this episode, the reasons to watch. The reasons to watch as in the name of the show. So, Season 1 is comparatively, I would say, B tier when it comes to the Momosume anime franchise. It's very bare bones. It's about what you'd expect out of a gacha game anime property. The animation is serviceable. It's decent. It's alright. You should watch a trailer on your own, hopefully. I had some homework for you guys. And it's generally speaking quite enjoyable. There's not much to say about it other than it's okay. Um, it tries to be a slice of life and a comedy at the same time, as well as a sports anime, which Musume prematurely is. So it's very difficult to sort of balance all three of those, and so the anime sort of ends up being sort of mid in terms of that presentation. Season 2 is where the anime really picks up and is actually becomes a legitimately good series that stands on its own 2 feet. So this, a lot of people on my anime list and such have stated that they prefer the animation in season 1. Now I see where they're coming from. There's very strong borders to the characters, and the animation overall is very consistent. But I would make the argument as an animator myself that the production value of this season 2 is far higher and also features far more kineticism than anything featured in season 1. The drama is very well built in the season, including those of Rice Shower and Tokai Teo, the main characters of this season. There is a reason I didn't mention the main characters of last season. They weren't very notable. But in this season, I remember their names properly, and I remember all their struggles in their respective roles. The tone is very consistent in the show, in this specific season of the show, at least, and it's very emotional, and it really does feel like you're watching something that's real and good. Characterization is also very well done in this series. Rice Shower, especially, is very well done, as well as Twin Turbo and several others that I won't mention here because those would be things to discover on your own. Tokai Teo, though, as a main character, obviously has the most development and the most ideas crammed within her character. Umayuru, as I mentioned prior, is the spin-off series, which is a comedy chibi series, which has around 10 minutes per episode, and is merely just a comedy show based upon the characters of Uma Musume Pretty Derby. Now, because of this, most of the jokes and internal comedy is based upon the characters' personalities and such, and so having no prior knowledge of them will result in you being very confused if you watch this series. The Road to Top anime is probably the visually most powerful of the bunch in terms of anime, in terms of the anime, at least. It features incredibly well done animation, almost film level, I would say. It's almost like like a quadra. I don't know what we call it. It's like 4 movies basically. They're very, very well done. Music is very powerful as well, and it's just really good. The story itself is kind of hard to wrap your head around because of because each of the characters has a really strong motivation to win. But overall, it's very, very good, and I would recommend this as the third to watch, I would say. Now we'll cover the manga. Season 3 is still airing, so we'll cover at the end. The Cinderella Grey manga. These panels are taken out of context, so you should be fine, and they're all within like the first prologue area, which is arguably most powerful chapters. But yeah. It has amazing artwork. It's kinetic. It's gripping. It feels really, really good to watch or read, I guess. And the one shot is also very, very good. I would say this is the #1 thing I would recommend to anyone getting into Uma Musume, because the manga is far more simpler to get into, especially since you can find it for free on the internet. I won't tell you where, but you can find it somewhere. And yeah, it's fan scanlated, so be careful about inconsistencies in terms of translation, but the character arcs still come through perfectly well, and it's just an amazing series overall. We have a Star Blossom manga, which is a very, very new series, which has, as always, high quality artwork. The characters are compelling. About the trainer for this series and the main Uma Musume are extremely powerful as characters, and yeah, it's overall pretty good. We don't have enough chapters out or scanlation out to properly judge the series, so I won't be saying anything about that. But it is definitely worth checking it out. Now let's take a look at season 3, the most recent season of the main anime series. Just like season 2, it's animated very well. It's very kinetic. CGI work is relatively well done, and not really noticeable at all. And the music, as usual, is very good. Very good. The sound design, as always, excellent. Currently, there are 4 episodes out at the time of this presentation, and there will be 13 episodes of this season. I recommend saving this one to last because it's currently airing, and even so, and I can't really say whether or not it'll be worth the watch by the end. Although it is showing quite a lot of promise in terms of just sheer character writing. Now this is the main selling point of the series, the franchise. It's the Musume Pretty Derby mobile game. Now this is only available in Japan or Japanese locales, so you have to find your own ways to get a hold of it. I recommend utilizing a combination of QApp and VPNs, but you can try some other things as well. It has a very active fan base with consistent translation on Game Torah and other wikis. It also has the Reddit online also has quite a lot of members, around 30k-ish members, I think, if I remember correctly. 30k, yeah, 30k-ish members. Or was it 300? I don't remember exactly the numbers. But it's very, very powerful, very well done. The graphical fidelity is unlike most other gacha games, I would say, and its gameplay loop is satisfying in short bursts, which makes it ideal for a mobile game. I'll probably do a stream at some point sort of showcasing the game itself, but overall it's very, very well done, and graphically it's impressive. The only thing I would say might be an issue for some people is that it's a gacha, and the rates they're about 3% for the highest rarity, so I would say it's not great, but it's definitely far from the worst that Cygames has done. Looking at your Grand Blue Fantasy. We also have a lot of in-game events as well. There's usually one around 2 around every month, which is very frequent, and the updates are very generous as well, with around 20 rolls or so coming in every other week. That's the end of the presentation. Hopefully, you guys go through. I'll just go through them one more time so you can see them all. Yeah, it's all very good, very powerful, it's a very good series. I would say, if you have any curiosity about this series, you should also check out their, if you have any curiosity about the series, check it out. And if you are a fan of Fate, definitely check it out, because it's one of those few series that you'll find that actually has real life equivalents. And it's also one of those few series that you can research online and you'll actually find connections between the series and the real life thing, because a lot of these plots are based off of prior results from races in real life. So yeah, I'll link those in a document. Actually, you can probably look them up on your own. You can find them in the wikis and on Reddit as well. There's a flare on the Musume Reddit, which is IRL horses. You can find most of the news regarding the IRL horses that the characters are based off of on there. And yeah, that's the end of the presentation. Hopefully, you all are encouraged to watch the series and invest in yourself into the series and get into Musume as a whole. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.